In April 1912, the RMS Titanic sat in Southampton, a colossal product of engineering and a vessel for absolute human optimism. The ship was the flagship of the Unsinkable Myth, a cultural narrative promising that economic growth would be infinite and human dominion over nature absolute. Living within that story breeds a specific kind of complacency. When you believe progress is a law of nature, you assume that any crisis will be solved by the next wave of advanced technology. A society built on the illusion of its own invincibility eventually loses the ability to recognize its own vulnerabilities. 4 days into the voyage, the air temperature drops. The wireless room receives iceberg warnings from other ships, but the crew maintains speed, treating the reports as minor inconveniences. This is a map of our modern iceberg, the metacrisis. It is the convergence of ecological breakdown, economic instability, and social fragmentation, multiple crises driving one another toward a single, unavoidable point. We see the symptoms in the physical world right now. Extreme weather, massive forest fires, and resource depletion are becoming the daily reality of a planet pushed to its limit. We are currently hurtling toward this crisis, but how we perceive the danger is dictated by which deck we stand on. Survival depends on identifying our current level of awareness before the impact occurs. On the first-class decks, extreme privilege creates a bubble. The passengers here are physically and psychologically insulated from the heavy labor and the dark realities required to keep the ship moving. Lord Ashton, a titan of the coal industry, is the personification of Level 1 awareness, dead asleep. His psychological defense is to dismiss any warning as fear-mongering. Acknowledging the danger would mean disrupting the status quo that guarantees his immediate comfort. This is the same mechanism used by modern society to ignore the elephant in the room. We continue with the business of daily life because acknowledging the crisis would require a pivot away from endless consumption. For those in first class, this absolute denial ensures that the coming catastrophe will be a total, devastating surprise. On the second-class decks, the illusion is thinning. A growing sense of unease has begun to penetrate the daily routine. This is Level 2 awareness. Passengers here recognize a fundamental problem, like the climate or the economy, but they do not yet see how those issues are part of a larger whole. This compartmentalization lets them focus intensely on a single issue, like carbon emissions, while the interconnected crisis remains in the dark. Focusing on a single fix creates the false hope that we can steer the system to safety without changing its underlying structure. Treating symptoms while ignoring the systemic disease provides only a temporary and ultimately deadly sense of security. Deep within the ship's library, Professor Moore provides an ecological perspective that stands in direct opposition to the unsinkable myth. Moore identifies our predicament as ecological overshoot, the point where humanity's consumption demands exceed the Earth's physical capacity to regenerate. Pushing past that limit triggers cascading failures. When you overdraw from the planet's capital, you destabilize the very systems that sustain life. In the boiler rooms, workers shuttle a finite supply of coal into furnaces to maintain a speed the ship cannot sustain. We are doing the same, burning through the planet's reserves to fuel a voyage that has exceeded its carrying capacity. Exceeding physical limits guarantees a collapse, no matter how much faith we place in the ship's technology. Then comes the moment of impact. The physical reality of the iceberg shatters the grand illusion of human mastery. The bubble of first class violently breaks. The single-issue fixes of second class prove completely inadequate as the ship begins its descent. Survival requires moving beyond the myth of infinite growth and acknowledging the complete interconnectedness of our predicament. Directing energy towards saving a vessel that is already underwater is no longer an option. Our focus must shift to equipping the lifeboats, embracing the practical and emotional transformations required for a radically different world. Facing the truth of the voyage requires the courage to feel the chill in the air, abandon our denial, and finally wake up. While global systems wobble, our job is to build a stable attractor, a functional, localized unit of community resilience created from the inside of the disruption. To help you navigate this, we have designed a 5-day intensive course. It is a practical survival guide for decoupling your life from the matrix of infinite growth. You will learn how to establish a local council of the commons and master the mechanics of biophilic stewardship, ensuring your land can feed your community indefinitely. You can remain tied to the illusion of a collapsing global credit card, or take this course to begin building real systems health today. The Earth is tired of the lie. It is time to dance with the truth.